Ludwig van Beethoven was born on a cold winter day, December 17th, 1770, in a small town called Bonn in Germany. His home was near the Rhine River. The town was quiet, but in Beethoven's house, there was always music. Music was a big part of his family life. His grandfather, who was also named Ludwig, was a respected musician. He worked for the royal court and played the organ. People in Bonn knew him as a kind and talented man. Beethoven's father, Johann, was also a musician. He played the violin and the piano, but he was not an easy man. Johann had a problem with alcohol. He drank too much and often became angry. He wanted his son to be great, maybe even greater than the famous Mozart. So, he pushed Beethoven very hard. Johann made young Beethoven practice for many hours every day. Sometimes he even woke him up in the middle of the night to play the piano. It did not matter if Beethoven was tired or sleepy. His father wanted him to be perfect. Beethoven's mother, Maria Magdalena, was different. She was gentle and warm. She took care of the family and gave them love and support. When Beethoven felt scared or sad, she would sing to him or tell him calming stories. She believed in him. She believed that one day he would become a great musician. Her kindness helped him through many difficult days. Even when he was very young, Beethoven loved music. He listened carefully to every sound. He paid attention to the notes his father played. He started to play simple songs on the piano and violin. He made mistakes, of course, but he kept trying. His fingers were small, but his heart was full of music. He didn't always understand what he was doing, but he felt it. The music was inside him. By the time he was 7 years old, Beethoven gave his first concert in public. It was a small theater in Bonn. There were candles on the walls, and people were dressed in their best clothes. Beethoven walked onto the stage slowly. He was nervous, but also excited. His hands touched the piano keys. He closed his eyes and began to play. The room became quiet. Then, beautiful sounds filled the air. The people listened carefully. They could not believe that such music was coming from such a small boy. After the concert, many people talked about him. They said he was a child prodigy, which means a child with very special talent. His father was proud and started to arrange more performances. Beethoven played at private houses, small parties, and concerts. He was just a boy, but people saw that he was different. He had something special. His music made people feel emotions, happiness, sadness, hope. But life was not easy for Beethoven. Even though people liked his music, he still had to practice a lot. His father was still strict. Sometimes Beethoven cried because he was tired. He wanted to play outside. He wanted to rest. But he had to stay at the piano. His father believed that hard work would make him famous, just like Mozart. Even during those hard moments, Beethoven did not stop loving music. He liked to make up his own little melodies. He liked to listen to the sounds of nature, birds, the wind, and the river. These sounds gave him ideas for music. He started to write his own pieces, short and simple at first. His family noticed. His mother smiled and told him to keep going. Let us imagine young Beethoven sitting at the piano. The light from the candles shines on his face. His hands move quickly over the keys. He makes a mistake, but he does not stop. He tries again. He listens. He learns. He begins again. This is how it all began. Not with fame, not with big concerts, but with a quiet house in Bonn, with a mother's love, with a father's pressure, with a child's heart full of music. Beethoven's journey had started, a journey that would inspire the world. When Beethoven was a young man, he moved to Vienna. Vienna was a big and beautiful city in Austria. It was full of music. Many great composers lived there, like Mozart and Haydn. Beethoven wanted to learn from the best and become a famous composer too. He arrived in Vienna in 1792. He was 21 years old. He left his home in Bonn, his family, and his friends. He was excited but also a little afraid. Vienna had many talented musicians. Beethoven knew he would have to work very hard to stand out. At first, Beethoven studied with the famous composer Joseph Haydn, but Haydn was often busy and did not spend much time with him. Beethoven felt disappointed. He wanted to learn more. So he studied with other teachers like Johann Albrechtsberger and Antonio Salieri. They helped him improve his skills, especially in writing music for voices and different instruments. To earn money, Beethoven gave piano lessons to rich families. He also performed in small concerts. He did not have much time to rest. During the day, he taught music. At night, he composed new pieces. Life in Vienna was not easy, but Beethoven never gave up. He wanted to be great. A few years later, Beethoven began to notice a problem. He started to hear a strange ringing sound in his ears. At first, he thought it was nothing, but soon he found it hard to hear high notes. He could not understand people when they spoke softly. He was afraid. He was a musician. What would happen if he lost his hearing? Beethoven tried to hide his problem. He did not want people to know. He continued to perform and compose, but the ringing in his ears got worse. Conversations became difficult. He started to feel alone. He stopped going to parties and meetings. He did not want others to see his pain. In 1802, Beethoven went to a quiet village called Heiligenstadt. He hoped the peace and nature would help him feel better. While there, he wrote a letter to his brothers. This letter is now called the Heiligenstadt Testament. In the letter, Beethoven shared his deep sadness. He wrote that he felt hopeless. He even thought about ending his life. But he also wrote something powerful. He said he would not give up. He said he would live for his art. He would keep writing music even if he could not hear it. This moment changed everything. Beethoven began to fight back. He accepted his hearing loss and found new strength. He started to write music that was different, bold, and full of emotion. His pain helped him create powerful works. One of his most famous pieces from this time is the Symphony No. 3, also called Eroica. It means heroic. The music is strong and brave. It tells a story of a hero's journey. Another well-known work is the Moonlight Sonata. The first part is soft and sad. It feels like someone thinking deeply in the dark. The later parts are louder and full of energy. This sonata shows both the beauty and struggle in Beethoven's heart. Even as he lost more of his hearing, Beethoven kept composing. He felt the piano's vibrations through his fingers. He imagined the sound of each instrument in his mind. He carried a notebook to write musical ideas whenever they came to him. Beethoven's music started to change. It became more personal. It showed joy, anger, hope, and sadness. He was not afraid to break the rules. He wanted his music to speak honestly. He once said, "Music should strike fire from the heart of man." Through music, Beethoven told his story. It was a story of pain and power. He showed the world that even in silence, we can still be heard. Even in darkness, we can still create light. Beethoven's journey through hearing loss is not just about music. It is about strength, courage, and hope. His story teaches us that we can face hard times and still grow. We can lose something important and still give something beautiful to the world. For people learning English, Beethoven's life reminds us of one thing: never give up. Keep going. Keep learning. Keep believing in your voice, just like Beethoven believed in his. As Beethoven grew older, his hearing became worse. He could no longer hear the music he was writing, but this did not stop him. In fact, he continued to create some of his greatest works during this time. One of the most famous is his Symphony No. 9. This piece of music is very special. It was the first symphony to include a choir and solo singers in the final part. The words they sang came from a poem called Ode to Joy, written by Friedrich Schiller. This poem talks about peace, joy, and the unity of all people. Beethoven worked on this symphony for many years. When it was finished, he organized a concert in Vienna to show it to the world. On the night of the performance in 1824, the concert hall was full. People were excited to hear his new music. Beethoven stood on stage to conduct the orchestra, even though he could not hear a single note. When the music ended, the audience stood up and clapped loudly. But Beethoven didn't notice. One of the singers gently turned him around so he could see the applause. His face showed both surprise and joy. This moment was one of the most powerful in music history. Another amazing part of Beethoven's final years is the music he wrote for string quartets. These pieces were different from what people were used to. They were deep, emotional, and full of new ideas. One of the most famous is the String Quartet Op. 131. It has 7 parts that are played without stopping. The music moves from sadness to hope, from darkness to light. Another quartet, Op. 132, includes a piece called the Holy Song of Thanks. Beethoven wrote this after he was sick and started to feel better. The music feels peaceful and full of life. At first, many people did not understand these late works. Some thought the music was too strange or too hard to follow. But over time, people began to see how special and important they were. Today, musicians and listeners all over the world study and enjoy these quartets. They are now seen as some of the best and most creative music ever written. Beethoven's life was not easy. He had many problems, including health issues and money troubles. He also had a hard relationship with his family, especially with his nephew Karl, whom he tried to raise. But Beethoven never stopped working on his music. Even when he was sick, even when he felt alone, he kept going. His love for music gave him the strength to continue. Beethoven's story teaches us many lessons. One important lesson is that we should not give up, even when life is hard. He lost his hearing, but he still made music that touched people's hearts. Another lesson is that we can find new ways to express ourselves. Beethoven used his imagination and feeling to create sound, even when he could not hear it. Today, Beethoven's music is played in concert halls, schools, and homes around the world. His Ode to Joy has become a symbol of hope and peace. It has been performed at important events, such as the fall of the Berlin Wall and the opening of the Olympic Games. His life and work continue to inspire musicians, artists, and students of all kinds. For English learners, Beethoven's story can also be a guide. Learning a new language is not always easy. Sometimes you make mistakes. Sometimes you feel tired or shy. But if you keep going, you will improve. You will find your own voice. Just like Beethoven, you can turn challenges into something beautiful. You can also use music to help your learning. Try listening to Beethoven's symphonies or sonatas. Close your eyes and feel the emotion. Write a few words about what you hear. Speak them out loud. Share your thought with others. Music can help you feel more confident, more connected, and more motivated to learn. Beethoven's journey shows us that true greatness comes not from being perfect, but from being strong in the face of difficulty. His music speaks across time, languages, and borders. It reminds us that we all share feelings, joy, pain, hope, and we can express them in many ways. Just like Beethoven, you have the power to inspire others, to grow, and to leave something meaningful behind. Keep learning, keep listening, keep believing in yourself. You have now listened to the amazing life story of Ludwig van Beethoven, from a small boy in Bonn with a dream, to a man who could no longer hear but still created some of the world's most powerful music. His journey is truly inspiring. Beethoven's story is full of ups and downs. As a child, he was pushed very hard by his father. He cried. He felt tired. But he also discovered the beauty of music. His mother gave him love and support. She believed in him. That love stayed in his heart forever. When he moved to Vienna, he worked day and night. He taught piano to rich families. He studied with great teachers. He had big dreams, but life was hard. Then, something even harder happened. He started to lose his hearing. At first, he was scared and angry. He felt lonely and hopeless. But slowly, he found strength. He told himself, "I will not give up. I will live for my art." And he did. Even when he could not hear a single sound, Beethoven continued to write music that changed the world. He created the Ninth Symphony, the Moonlight Sonata, and the beautiful string quartets. These pieces are full of emotion. They speak to the human heart. So, what is the lesson for us? The lesson is simple but strong. Even when life is hard, we must keep going. Even when we feel lost, we can still find meaning. Like Beethoven, we can turn pain into beauty. We can use our challenges to grow, to create, and to help others. In your own life, maybe you are learning English and it feels difficult. Maybe you feel shy or slow. That's okay. Keep practicing. Keep believing. You will improve. Let Beethoven's story remind you, progress takes time, but it is always worth it. Congratulations on reaching the end of this story. You have just improved your English listening and understanding. Great job. Here's a question for you. What helped Beethoven keep going even when he was deaf? A. His love for nature. B. His passion for music and his strong spirit. Write your answer in the comments, A or B, and one short sentence in English. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. It helps us stay motivated to make more stories for you. Also, if you want to support us, please consider making a small donation. Creating free content takes a lot of time and love. In the beginning, it is hard to grow, but with your help, we can continue this journey together. Thank you for learning with us at GlowEnglish. See you next time.